I have been seeing a lot of Star Wars movie ranking lists out there, and they're all wrong. So I'm going to bless your timeline and give you the correct ranking of the Star Wars movies. Here's the rules. It had to have hit on the big screen, so we're doing 12 Star Wars movies, and I'm going to give you the perfect ranking. If you have a different one, it's wrong. I'm sorry to tell you that. But if you want to try to convince me that your ranking could be better than mine, try to do so in the comment section below. And if you change my mind, I'll send you a message and maybe send you something free in the mail. We are going to go from worst to first, starting with number 12, Solo, a Star Wars story. Nobody wanted this film. It was terrible. It gave us the backstory of Han Solo's last name, which was completely stupid.
Han.
What? Who are your people?
I don't have people.
Solo.
The movie was so bad that it left on cliffhanger endings, and they didn't even want to make a sequel. Halfway through production, the director was fired, and they brought in somebody else to fix this jumbled mess. And when it finally was delivered on the big screen, people were like, not interested. You totally messed up the mystery of Han Solo, and that's what made his character amazing. It also gave us Lando, that he had a secret relationship with the robot.
My sacral occipital circuit is sticking. You're gonna have to do that thing again later.
Yeah.
That was weird, and nobody wanted to see that on the big screen. At the very end, you threw in Darth Maul because you didn't know what else to do, and you were hoping that maybe that cameo would spark some interest, but it didn't. So this is the worst number 12 Star Wars movie ever. Number 11, The Rise of Skywalker, or some would say The Rise of Palpatine. Nobody understood this film. Even people that liked The Last Jedi watched The Rise of Skywalker and said, this is complete crap. The entire film was basically a big convenience. Hey, we gotta find a dagger. Oh, look, I tripped over it. How convenient. Hey, I've gotta do this. No worries, I got healing power. How convenient. Hey, we've gotta find Exegol or wherever the Emperor was hanging out. Look, you can do it using this. How convenient. And it also gave us one of the stupidest lines in Star Wars cinematic history.
And it confirms the worst. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Just walk that one off!
That summed up your entire film. The ending of the movie was kind of like the Avengers. You didn't know where you were going. Poe was about to die, and someone said, hey, on your left. Just like in the movie Endgame. Everybody showed up, including their grandmother, and they shot down a new empire. I don't even know where that came from. There were horses riding on Star Destroyers. It was pretty bad. And then at the very end, Rey looks up and says, I'm Rey Skywalker, just like that.
Ray Skywalker.
Then you had a vision ghost of Luke and Leia, and that was the end of the film. That was the big conclusion to the Skywalker trilogy. This was horrible. It seemed like you had no care, no respect. You just threw something out there and hoping that it stuck, but it didn't. It stunk. Number 10, The Last Jedi. Go ahead, sequel trilogy fans, put all your nasty comments in my comment section, but you know it's true. The only good thing I could say about this film is John Williams. You destroyed Luke Skywalker, you added a scene about a casino which made no sense, you started off with a mama joke, and the entire movie is literally a slow motion chase. That's it. Where the heck did Leia learn how to fly like Mary Poppins in space? And you put that all together for the worst choreographed lightsaber scene, which is technically called the throne room scene in history. Number 9, Rogue One. Oh boy, I could see the people hitting the thumbs down right now. But Jay, that's the greatest thing to happen out of Disney Star Wars. Okay, I'll give you the Darth Vader hallway scene. That was really cool and I enjoyed it. But what this movie did, which was kind of creepy, was use that CGI and bring dead actors back to life. I mean, they could have just easily recast. They don't understand that if you recast but stay true to the character, no one's gonna be upset. I mean, they did recast for Solo, a Star Wars movie, but I think they would have kept Harrison Ford if he would have signed on and just changed his face. Kind of like what they did in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. They brought Luke Skywalker back in The Mandalorian. I'm like, just recast, man. You don't have to spend all that money. Stay true to the characters and you'll be fine. But I'm curious, for all those that are upset with this number 9 pick, how many times do you actually go back and rewatch Rogue One? How much rewatchability does it have? Just answer that before you get all upset. Number 8, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated movie that came out in 2008. What that introduced to us was one of the first babies in the series. What are you talking about, Jay? We had baby Jabba the Hutt. Man, forget Baby Yoda. Baby Jabba the Hutt is where it's at. And I'm shocked that it didn't catch on like the other one. If you haven't seen this, I recommend that you do. I think you will enjoy it. You got Anakin, you got little Ahsoka there, and you got Obi-Wan. What more could you ask? Number 7, The Force Awakens. Oh, I'm gonna hear it from everybody now. Listen, I admit, when this came out, I fell into the hype. I was all in. I watched this movie several times in the theater. I hated the fact that they killed off Han Solo, but let's be honest. All of us that went to watch this film knew this was coming. We've all heard the stories that Harrison Ford was tired of playing this character. He got a big fat check just to make an appearance, and we all knew it was coming. I just thought they would take care of the character just a little bit better. And the thought of a stormtrooper possibly turning into a Jedi, that was an amazing story that could have been. But we all know that that's not what happened. And now the difficult job in ranking the next 6 films. Number 6, A New Hope. The movie that started it all. A young Luke Skywalker, an introduction to the greatest villain ever created, Darth Vader. The Death Star. All those things were thrown into this film, and for years, people never called it A New Hope. They called it Star Wars. It was a great spectacle to see, and the fact that George Lucas filmed this not knowing if he was going to make any others, he kind of filmed it as a solo film with the potential for more sequels. It was brilliant. Number 5, Attack of the Clones. And I can hear you already, Jay, that had some of the most cringiest lines in Star Wars history. Okay, I'll give you that.
I don't like sand.
But it also had Master Yoda fighting Count Dooku. What else do you want from a Star Wars film? It was awesome. It built up at the very end. You're like, holy crap, we're about to see greatness, and we absolutely saw it. Number 4, The Phantom Menace. You could say a lot of things about Jar Jar and some of the CGI.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
But when Darth Maul stood there and ignited his blade and the Duel of Fates hit, I'm telling you, that's one of the greatest moments in Star Wars history. I even enjoyed the pod racing. So yes, number 4. Number 3, Return of the Jedi. Boy, do I love this film, and they don't tell stories like this anymore. The conclusion of the original trilogy, the redemption story of Darth Vader, the love for his family and friends with Luke Skywalker, and the destruction of the second Death Star. This movie had everything. Every single person that was in the Star Wars universe, from C-3PO, Han Solo, Leia, Luke, Vader, all had a purpose and a story in this film. It was absolutely incredible. And how could you not stand and cheer at the very end? Number 2, The Empire Strikes Back. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback because many, almost the majority of Star Wars fans has this movie as their number 1. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. This movie is a cinematic masterpiece, from the Battle of Hoth to the introduction to Master Yoda to Luke and Vader fighting in Cloud City. Everything about this film was amazing, and you can watch this movie over and over again, pick up little things here and there that you might have missed, and it makes that movie even more special. If you're still with me, then you already know that just by a small fraction, the number 1 Star Wars film, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This movie delivers one of the most powerful lines of all time.
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
To see the fall of Anakin Skywalker and change into Darth Vader. To see the fall of the Jedi and see how the Empire takes control. All of this was in this film. And arguably, This had the greatest lightsaber duel of all time. Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Yoda versus the Emperor is right up there, but Anakin versus Obi-Wan. How can you argue with that? All right, so there's the list. This is the ranking. You don't need any other ranking. If you want to try to convince me, put it in the comment section below. I love to read them all, and I might make a separate video on all your comments. And if you do end up convincing me why I should change my list around, I'll probably reach out and send you something cool in the mail. This is Jay. Look forward to my next ranking as I rank the greatest lightsaber duels that hit the big screen. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.